Massive manipulation is happening right now, in my opinion. There are giant swings right now in the price of crypto. People are wondering, Trump is going to be inaugurated in 12 days. Why is Bitcoin falling down? Why are altcoins falling down? And I think it's pretty obvious if you've been around for a while. They're trying to trick you. There's manipulation happening. We'll talk about that. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this. Also, we're going to be talking a little bit about trading later in the video. If you want to trade, there's a link to BTCC underneath the video. You can trade on leverage. You can just buy spot crypto as well. You can copy trade. You can do all types of things. And with this link, you also get a 10% bonus on your first time deposits, and you get lower trading fees. You don't need to KYC, meaning you don't have to give any of your personal information, that you don't have to say where you're from, what your social security number is. You don't have to talk about your source of income, nothing like that. So some people like that extra layer of privacy. Now, this happened, 6 months ago? The Bitcoin conference. Let me just play this for you. I know we've all seen it, but just a reminder of what Trump was saying 6 months ago.
This afternoon, I'm laying out my plan to ensure that the United States will be the crypto capital of the planet and the Bitcoin superpower of the world, and we'll get it done. If crypto is going to define the future, I want to be mined, minted, and made in the USA. It's going to be. It's not going to be made anywhere else. And if Bitcoin is going to the moon, as we say, it's going to the moon, I want America to be the nation that leads the way. And that's what's going to happen. I pledge to the Bitcoin community that the day I take the oath of office, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's anti-crypto crusade will be over. It will end. It'll be done. It'll be done. On day one, I will fire Gary Gensler and appoint a new SEC chairman.
And he also talks about how they're going to create a strategic reserve of Bitcoin. Now, I think this is interesting because these are some big promises. He says the first day, the choke point 2.0, the anti-crypto cabal is going to be done. And I think we're already seeing that. We've seen so many people that were against crypto or fought crypto that are just stepping down randomly. People that made fun of crypto investors are stepping down, even in other countries. So there's this, I think, this massive change. And, some people are like, okay, well, why is Bitcoin falling down? It's so obvious. It's manipulation, right? Bitcoin falling down 7%. Days before inauguration. Keep in mind, we've still done really well since back in July when Trump spoke at the Bitcoin conference. Bitcoin was floating around from 70,000 to 50,000, back and forth. And now we're way up. We went up to 108. We're at 95 now. So a little bit of manipulation right now because people are trying to liquidate positions. They're trying to make the market fearful ahead of this inauguration. They're trying to get their hands on some Bitcoin, in my opinion, before Trump makes a strategic Bitcoin reserve. There's still some uncertainty whether that's going to happen, but keep in mind, this is just from this is from 3 weeks ago. This is Trump's son.
I believe in Bitcoin. I absolutely love Bitcoin, and I'm very proud that my father stood on stage in Nashville, and he came out and said that he's going to be the Bitcoin president, he's going to be the crypto president. He's going to make America the crypto capital of the world. He's going to put in smart regulation. He's going to do all the right things. I really believe that this is the future of finance. And I can say with great pride that now that he's won, you're going to have the most pro-crypto president in the history of America. When I called my father last week at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday, does anybody know what happened that day? We hit 100,000. We hit 100,000.
Okay, so he keeps on talking. I think he had like a 20 or 30 minute speech. But do you think Eric Trump would be talking like this a month before inauguration if Trump wasn't going to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve? Would he be going to a Bitcoin conference and talking about how his dad's going to be so pro-crypto if he wasn't going to do everything that he said he was going to do? No, he would look like he has egg on his face, like he doesn't know what's actually happening. And I'm sure he's very tuned in to what his dad is doing right now. So In my opinion, everything that Trump said is going to happen. There's going to be a strategic Bitcoin reserve. What it looks like exactly, are they going to actively buy Bitcoin or just hold the Bitcoin that they have right now? It's kind of open-ended, but I think that there's manipulation ahead of this because there are some people newer to the market that don't really know. They feel like they haven't heard from Trump in a while, that they don't know if there's going to be a strategic Bitcoin reserve. But after enough time, you realize, and if you're investing in Bitcoin, Bitcoin's a black hole. Bitcoin swallows people up. Like if the U.S. is not buying Bitcoin, someone else will be. The U.S. will regret it. Eventually, the U.S. will be holding Bitcoin, at least holding Bitcoin, if not actively buying Bitcoin, mining Bitcoin. But I think this is coming. Trump seems to be a man of his word. I know some people hate that, but the fact is when he says something, he usually does it, whether it's something you like or not. But the fact is, it does seem like we're going to get this strategic reserve. And right now, there's manipulation. There are a bunch of cryptos that are falling down a lot today because we're seeing a pretty big swing in Bitcoin. So a lot of altcoins are falling down. And at the same time, we're seeing a lot of liquidations. We had about $600 million worth of crypto liquidated in the last 24 hours. Crypto longs liquidated in the last 24 hours. So we're seeing some red candles. Again, I think this is to kind of trick people out of their positions. Maybe it's to force some liquidations, force us lower before good news or before a big rally, right? There's a lot of manipulation because there's a lot of money on the line. Now, how can you approach this? What can you do? Well, you can stick to your plan, right? If you've been dollar cost averaging, great. Continue to dollar cost average, just like you were planning on doing. If you're waiting for a time to buy lower, well, I can tell you this, we are 12% lower than we were a few weeks ago. If you're looking to trade, like I think this is a great time to trade. I've said this before, but when there's manipulation like this, when there are big red candles, it opens up opportunity. Look at Solana, right? We have had this big downtrend back when Bitcoin was downtrending too. We got rejected 3 times and then flipped this trend line into support. Well, the same thing is happening right now on Solana. We got rejected. Now it looks like we're flipping this into support. If the market goes up, Solana's probably going to rally pretty hard. I could always be wrong on this, but I'm placing along today. I think this is a great time to be trading because if we're right, the upside is massive. Of course, you could get liquidated depending on how aggressive you're getting, right? Like, say we break through this line, go from 195 to 170 or something like that. Like, if you're on anything more than 7x leverage, you're going to be liquidated. So you have to be careful right now, but I think now is, like I said, a really good time to be leverage trading because when we see big pullbacks like this, like when you see Peanut or Pengu or like some of these memes that are going down 20% a day, you can make a really good return if you play the charts right. I mean, look at this. Look at Render. Perfectly bouncing off this previous resistance. Like, this is beautiful. I think that maybe this was new because this only goes back to December of 2024. So a little bit needs to be needs to be reloaded here, loaded up on a different page. But there are opportunities like this, right? Even if this isn't a good representation because it was maybe new to the platform. The fact is there are opportunities like this out there. We have, cryptos just selling off left and right. And if we are right, if the U.S. is going to adopt a strategic Bitcoin reserve, we're going to see massive candles. Everyone that's gone long at the right time is going to get fabulously wealthy, as some people would like to say. And the fact is, you can still go low leverage on something like this. Like, let's go back to the Solana chart, actually. I'm going to be opening up some trades today. This is beautiful. I think, you could go super short time frame. You could say, well, I think we're going to bounce off this. Just like we bounced off this previous trend line, I think we're going to turn around and there's going to be manipulation to the upside. I think shorts are going to get liquidated. So I'm going to go long Solana. You could get super aggressive and, let's say you thought we were going to bounce at like one of these previous resistance levels. Let's say 187. We're at 198 right now. You could go something like 20x leverage and then just put a stop loss somewhere down here. And then if we bounce, great. If we fall down, you could get liquidated. Or you could go something lower leverage. Like you could say, well, even if we wipe out and go all the way down to 170, I'm going to go 5x. And honestly, after we've seen a 30% pullback like we've seen on Solana, typically going something like 3x, 5x leverage, relatively safe unless we take a huge dive. We have taken 45% dips on Solana recently.